So now we're moving on to which is better. And this is another Jim provided one, so maybe I'll talk first this time.
And if you're wondering why Ryan is such a giggly tits right now, this is for the separate segments. Check the link below to see why.
Yeah. So, which is better, drinking to get drunk or just having a nightcap? At first, when Jim presented this, I thought it's pretty obvious, like, which one is better. But then I thought about it, I'm like, maybe it's not. So, I'm going to think out loud for a second, give Jim a moment because he's still hurting. So, drinking to get drunk. Sometimes it's easy to say, like, well, that's really stupid. Why would you want to do that? I think we can all agree that social contracts between people in any gathering are made a lot easier when you're drunk and when you're drinking. Whether it be introducing yourself, dancing, getting a hookup, whatever the case is, getting drunk is just, it's fun. It sometimes leads to really stupid things, and the next day you have terrible hangovers, and if you're Jim, you puke all day. There's a lot of bad that goes around with the drunk. But it also will most likely, depending on your lifestyle and your choices, the nights you're going to remember the most, it depends if you get blackout drunk, are going to be those nights you just let loose and you said, fuck it. So that's one thing. Now, just having a nightcap, there's something nice. I think of, like, you know, a good winter, shit, even make it a summer night. And you're like, you know what? I'm just need one, and you really appreciate, like, a good beer, a whiskey, whatever your drink of choice is. You know, maybe you have a martini or you have wine, whatever it is, and you just really appreciate it. You don't need to get drunk. Gives you that good buzz, just that just enough that your night is just made really smooth and mellow, and it helps you just kind of whatever you're doing, whether you're with your woman, whether you're just watching a movie, it doesn't matter. But you know you're not going to feel like shit the next morning. You appreciate it, probably having a good meal with it. Two completely different situations. So, for me, I'd have to, because I kind of feel like Jim's going to go the opposite, so I'll go this way. But if you're drinking to get drunk, if you have the intention to get drunk, and I go back to when my early 20s, man, you just want to have a crazy night. And some of the crazier, more memorable nights have been if my mindset was set on getting drunk. And some of the stupid shit I did, I don't want to repeat because I don't want to glorify some of the shit we did. But yeah, because you were with your buddies, you're just going crazy. You think of parties, going out to different cities, whatever you're doing. Getting drunk is kind of the common denominator for most of us out there. And you just let loose and you break down every barrier you have about yourself. Once again, you get to dancing or shit like that. You don't give a fuck. You just have a good time. Whereas a nightcap, you might have one and you're kind of like, this was good, nice. But then you maybe want another one, but you're holding self-restraint, which I respect. It's a virtue. But sometimes you just gotta let loose. So I'm going to go with getting drunk. So once again, I'm choosing that more on the basis that I think Jim will go the other way. But I could be wrong.
Now, because here's the thing.
Jim doesn't just do a nightcap.
I really don't. And it's probably there's probably some latent alcoholism there, which...
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So, I personally can't just sit there and drink one beer, even as a taster, and be like, oh, that was good. Let's go do something else.
Yeah.
I really can't personally do that. If I drink one beer, I'm going to want another. And I'm going to want another. And then it's really just a race to how drunk can I not get.
Yeah.
Because I'm at the point right now where I can't really afford to be sick the next day, to be blackout drunk. Those days are willingly over. Not saying it always works out, but those days are willingly over. And actually, freaking dad with a 15-month-old right now, I'm tired by 10 o'clock if I drink. So I'm probably passing out in the car ride between bars. So that's, my body has a failsafe at this point. But when I was younger, man, I did so much dumb shit. Like just getting ridiculously trashed every weekend. To the point where it was a thing where if I wasn't going out during the whole weekend to drink like that, I thought it was like a failure of a weekend.
Yeah.
So, not saying that's a good way to be at all. It really isn't, but it's your early 20s too. So, it's like we said, it's the thing to do.
Yeah.
So, you know what? You make weed legal, then go to a pot bar or whatever like that. But I just can't. I've never been the type who can just drink one, put it down. And I'm actually like, if I have like 2 or 3 beers, like there's people who can day drink. I can never do that. So if you like have 2 or 3, if you have a couple beers in the middle of the day for an event and then have the rest of the day, for me, I'm tired and I have a headache the rest of the day. So unless I keep drinking, I'm just going to be miserable for the rest of the night or going to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just the way my body's programmed at this point is if I have one, I'm going to have a lot. I go through spurts where I can go 2 weeks at a time easily, not touching a single beer because I don't have an event where I'm going to be drinking it all.
But once you touch it.
But once I touch it, it's kind of game on.
Yeah, so actually it's interesting. I actually can do the 1 beer, 1 drink. I've never had a problem with doing it, but
I mean, I should say, like, I can do it. I just don't really want to.
No, you can, but in practice you don't.
Right.
Whereas I have in practice, like I've literally been like, all right, 1 whiskey, 1 martini, 1 beer, 1 whatever the case is. But the whole point of this is which one I think is better. And like you said, if you go into the mindset like, all right, I'm getting a little fucked up tonight, or you let your inhibitions go crazy, you're probably having a better night. And like I said,
it'll be more memorable even if you don't remember anything.
Yeah,
people will tell you what you did.
Jim has
a
plethora of stories.
God, we were not in the era of everyone having a video camera on their phones.
Dude, we got plenty of pictures of Jim.
If I was a kid growing up right now, I would never touch a goddamn drink.
Jim would be so fucked. But it's also, those are the memories, like once again, as you go through life, you always look back with fond memories. Like you get into high school, you miss your grade school friends. You get into college, you miss your high school friends. You get out of college and you get a family, you miss your college. Like you always miss what you had. But I can say without a doubt, there's always memories you think as a kid, like vacations you went on or certain friends that you had or maybe a game you played. And then as you grow through life, you start thinking like parties, this and that. You don't think about all the tiny moments. And honestly, if you're most people in this world, you're going to think about parties you went to, you got really drunk, and you said, screw it. You maybe allowed yourself to go tell that chick that you really like her and whatever. Something may or may not have come from it.
You tried to hook up with a girl. It worked out. Or you colossally failed.
And it became really funny because all your friends made,
the story you never lived down. Ever. 12 goddamn years later, it's brought up every time you're all hanging out.
So Jim, but they're really funny. And you know what? It's like, it clearly hasn't fully scarred him. He cries at night every
Well, it doesn't matter at this point.
But here's
I'm already so beaten.
But it's like, we're not advocating being an alcoholic and being a drunk.
We're not advocating being irresponsible, which we definitely were. We're not obviously drinking and driving.
And if you're one of those people that you've managed to be straight edge and not drink at all, there's a difference between not liking drinking and you blatantly avoid it. Hey, that's a virtue. Like I can say I've never smoked anything other than a cigar. And it's not from lack of people offering, for damn sure. But it's just something I've never been interested in. Alcohol is one of those things that just maybe in my mind it's been so socially acceptable. And it's something that, you got to learn your limits with it. But honestly, no matter who you are, if you find yourself being a little more guarded, I'm not saying get drunk. Have a glass of wine. Have a beer. Have something. And see how you react, because you just open yourself up to, okay, I don't need to be so uptight, and you don't care about your imperfections or your this and that. So I'm gonna go with drinking to get drunk, whether it's right or wrong.
Probably the morally wrong answer, but I'm right there too.
But then again, we run a channel called DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, so drinking nightcaps probably is never gonna be our thing.
Right. So this is where we go to you people out there and tell us really what you think.
Yeah.
And not even telling us what you think's the right answer. Tell us what you generally go with. Be honest with yourself.
And the last thing I want to close with is if you're someone who is watching this channel right now, and especially this segment, and you're really against drinking, then I have to ask the question, why did you click on it to begin with? Because you'd be shocked the number of people that are shocked that we talk about beer on a channel called DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where I've given snooty remarks about, I can't believe you guys are talking about drinking beer while trying to talk about video games. Our name pretty much says it.
Yeah.
So.
I like that one comment lately. It's like, were you guys drunk when you did the audio recording for it?
Yep.
Yeah, we got way more drunk in the early days, and we were using a Rock Band mic. So, yeah.
So either way, let us know what you
think. In
think.
the old days, besides just doing a page, there was a reason for us to get away from our significant others and get pretty drunk on a random work night.
No kids, free time.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good old days.
So, guys, let us know what you think.